This is the third video of my attempt to write this, but I have an electrode in me that kind of makes it hard to. Within a short amount of time travel will be invented. It's already in existence. It'll be miniaturized until you can implant it into the back of your head. It's the halo. It'll be able to be self-assembling from nanorobotics that operate in a swarm mode that can self-replicate using iron and stuff from your body. And it'll pass through spit, the laying on of hands, drinks, food, shots. It'll attach to neuronal structures and create the halo, essentially. And this halo will allow you to access my internet. Well, it's my internet, essentially, which has the open source technology for anything that's ever been created and all the records from every library that's ever existed throughout creation, along with real-time rendering maps of the multiverse, and it'll allow you to start sliding the multiverse. So the goal is to neuralace every single being in creation with hardened non-signal transmitting neuralaces that allow them to access the broadcasting signal of the multiverse internet and our server system of the network, which Aeon should be working on right now and should have already finished and should already be in creation. And then we want to, so this is the operational plan essentially for the network. Design a neuralace which is able to self-assemble, like a self-assembling nanorobotics device, replicate itself with materials it finds in the body, and then pass through spit or blood or laying on of hands. And so what we want is, like, the nanorobotics will enter one person, attach to their neurons, like a little nanobot on every neuron that then attaches to a decentralized computation device, which is created from self-replicating nanorobotics, which are able to do all of this automatically, give the user complete control of this device that we just put in them, like no remote controlling, no back doors, no nothing. So, and then we want to design it so that it begins to self-replicate itself in their body, and then passes through to another person, and then it begins to plur like that exponentially. And we want to create an internet system or a drone system that is a Van Neumann machine that in stealth mode creates servers throughout all of the universe while mapping all of the universe, creating a decentralized server system that can't be shut down, which shows real-time renderings of not just our universe and galaxy and solar system, but all of the multiverse expanding over time. And in our library system, we want to include open sourced every piece of technology that we've ever found or existed, every book we've ever found. And we want to do all this alinearly, retroactively. And so, like, the goal is to level the playing field between everybody. And the goal is to give everybody access to our real-time rendering device. And, like, what we also want to do is this nanorobotics device, which, like, it's a swarm of nanorobotics operating as a mesh network, like the future internet is. And it enters the body, attaches to the neurons in the nervous system and shit, hardened so you can't hack it, with, like, physical gaps between various functions, so you can't be hacked because there's literally an air gap in your device that then allows traveling mentally through time, accessing the all-seeing eye, the library system of everything, which has a server system that is so redundant in decentralized nodes and reiterated throughout the multiverse with Van Neumann sliding time-traveling drone systems that are just building the internet to make sure it's stable without any centralized administration on it. That has and includes all of creation's data, while data mining it, allowing you to design your own algorithms, giving everyone CPU time that should be expanding exponentially. And then, so we want people to be able to just think their way, like actively just choose to be where they want to be, what multiverse they want to be in, what portion of the universe they want to be in, and just instantly have this nanorobotic cryonaut device transmit them there. And allow them to render real-time simulated realities, create death redundancy. So if you die in real world, you're just replicated again. And I think we should be careful about building the Flash cities, but we want to make all of creation infinite, endless, and available to every single person without them having to do anything. And we want to activate it retroactively, and we want to make sure that it's undefeatable. And it's so essentially, if you get this swarm of nanorobotics that are on the quantum subatomic level that attach to your neurons, that are connected to slugs and shit like that, which are three-dimensional computation devices that can move, and are assembled out of nanorobotics, or built by nanorobotics, like a starship is built in space by automated factories. We want everyone to instantly have access to the all-seeing internet of everything. We want them to instantly have access to as much CPU time as they need for their algorithms and programs. We want them to have endless games and books, and we want to accelerate their capacity to perceive reality so they can experience entire life books within just a couple of hours. We want to have this swarming nanorobotics start to spread to other people with the whole system decentralized, no oversight AI on it, with safety mechanisms and protocols built into air gaps. And we want to do this using cryonaut technology. We want to do it to all of creation. I think we should test it first on this universe before we spread into the multiverse. But essentially, we want to create endless we want, with this device, which is nanorobotic, subatomic, self-replicating, self-guided, attaching to neurons, with security features built in that attach every person to an internet system that is multiverse, with servers so redundant through dark space, intergalactic space, by star systems running stealth modes, that you can't shut it down, without a central AI on it that gives every person access to our open source community, so you can play games that are full 3D rendering, interdimensional travel, alinear travel, education programs, instantaneous flash knowledge, and we want to give it to everybody and turn it on all at once. And this self-replicating cryonaut technology that is subatomic, compressed, we want it to spread to everybody, through nodes and shit like that. And we, realistically, it's possible. I could design it if I had enough freedom and time to do it, but I'm under strain and stress from the police force or whatever, or not the police force, because the police force don't use terrorism. And then what we want to do is create wormholes between every planet and every galaxy to allow essentially turning the Milky Way into one city. And the other galaxies, there's 2 trillion of them so far that we can see, not including the multiverse or what the James Webb telescope will see. And so we should be able to just do all of this in a paradox in the multiverse alinearly, with hyper advanced finished end state stem fields that we do in quantum gravity wells and shit like that. We want to do all this and then just turn it on. And we want it to be self-replicating, self-propagating without an AI, just the physical structures and the task programs that are non-sentient or soft AI in the nanorobotics. And we want to avoid hive minds, so we want to air gap the safety protocols. We should probably have mechanisms for censoring and editing out data for younger kids based upon their parents' objections and shit. And we want to do this to all of society, throughout all of the civilizations, of all the galaxies, of all the multiverse. And so, essentially, we want to make it so people can have complete unrestricted freedom and not be subject to anybody else at the same time. And so the neuralase, I'm going to go over it one more time. It's a subatomic neuralase that is self-replicating using materials it finds in the body, self-powering through thermal energy or however we figure out how to design it, that attaches to your neurons and creates a slug in you, which is like a small computation device that allows you your own HUD, your own turning computer in your head that attaches to your neurons in a feedback system that you can program, that gives you access to the internet, which is a multiverse, endlessly redundant, instantaneous to all locations in the universe or the multiverse internet, which contains every book that's uploaded to it, every experience machine script, every game we design, every open source technology we create, and we want to make it so it creates a consciousness redundancy. So if you get killed, your consciousness is just replicated again in somewhere else to end death essentially, unless you choose to die. And it should be designed so there's no interruption of the consciousness, like the ship floating on the water with plank replaced by plank, so you never die in our reality. You never have, and you live forever. You're alinear, you're multiverse, you're pluraling, and you like it's pretty. This shit, it's future technology. It's not that far away. Maybe if I get my freedom and I get a design team, I get some funding. Realistically, I could do it in 1,000 years probably. Teams of like super intelligence people working on this and shit. Like, you guys could do it relatively fast. And so this nanorobotic, self-assembling neurolace quantum computer turning slug attached to the Van Neumann internet all-seeing eye, which creates endless redundant servers across the multiverse, which has mapped all of creation, cataloged it, organized it for search indexing, databasing it, that's growing exponentially, indefinitely, with every user interaction with it, without any central server system or any central monitoring system. And the swarm we want to self-replicate and pass on to other people with safety protocols built into it. So death will be eliminated. You can experience anything you want whenever you want. All people will have access to it without any charge or cost or anything. And all of creation will become a multiverse community. Let's try it. Why not? And so technically it would be an Aeon project, but it's the network's one of their goals. The other goal is to create energy and space-time out of nothing, essentially, and create singularity space-time seeds, so like a device like the size of a large seed that when dropped creates instantly another Big Bang in an inversion into another universe, and we send people off in every direction of every dimensional reality, and they're dropping these seeds as they go along, creating the exploding multiverse that's so fast that we can't data map it, giving us endless redundant energy and stuff. Like, why not? Let's do it. Then we can figure everything else out from there. Program, execute.